Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault. And you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy. The dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
As the agent for Peyton Ansley, John Milton, you are indicating to me that you're quite familiar with Peyton Ansley, John Milton, and that's basically you. Is that correct?
I am the agent authorized to represent Peyton Ansley, John Milton, as written in all capital letters.
All right, and you understand for my purposes, though that language doesn't make any sense. So
no, I do not.
I understand? Okay, well, I'm telling you that. And so I am, until you disabuse me of the motion, or the notion, I am inclined to believe that you are both the agent and the person. And it's
I'm not a person, I am one of the people, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. I'm the Recovery Addict. It's good to have you here. Happy day. Happy day. We're all here together. Yeah, I'm telling you, it is closing arguments already, which is just, it's amazing. It seems like we never get here, and then we did. That's because we left, and everything went quickly. But here we are, closing arguments today in the Georgia v. Farris Walker, or Melody Walker Farris trial. Sorry. I have to say, Jen Devika, I'm going to need you to be on your A game today, because I've got to have you have the internet just work really, really well. You said you're up to the task. Congratulations. I think you can handle it. It's going to be awesome. Looking forward to this day where we have, in fact, sentenced you to internet ownership for the entire day. You have to fix everything IP related. You're going to do great, Jen. You're going to do great. Thank you for your over-exuberance in chat as well.
I'm not a camel.
Not a camel. All right. YouTube says, now would be a good time to insert ads. Creators earn more money inserting ads the more viewers are watching. Give it a try. No, thank you. All right. Yeah, it doesn't learn. I've asked them to just make that go away. It's like, I've never clicked the OK button, and I never will. Can you just fix it so it doesn't pop up anymore? Nope. Anyway, it's good to be here. It is absolutely wonderful to be here today, because it's
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Hump day! Welcome to Wednesday. I got 2 thumbs up from the youngest RA. It's hump day. It is hump day. It's amazing. Sorry. For those of you who were not expecting that, that's something we do every Wednesday. We made it halfway through the week. It's worth celebrating. It really is. I'm sorry for, and if there are any birthdays today, I apologize, because I gave it my all there. That's everything I've got. Unfortunately, you guys will have to sing the birthday song by yourselves, apparently. Good thing I've got some water. Thank you to Mrs. R.A., who went to the store and got, not a sponsor, Deer Park water for me, my favorite brand. I only drink Deer Park water when I'm watching true crime, and you too should. See, Deer Park, that's why you don't hire me. I can't even do an ad right. Yeah, not a sponsor. I wish they were a sponsor, just so we didn't have to buy it so many times. You know, free water for life would be great. And it is good water, but not a sponsor. I guess why pay for sponsorship if they just get it already, right? Crazy. Let's see. We've got things happening today. To start with, we're going to do the birthday. Everyone muting the hump day so Recovery Addict ruins his throat for no reason. Says Tisha. That's pretty much it. That's how it goes. All right, Sandy. No prima donna. Sorry, I had to read that one through a couple times. No prima donna. Jessica and Erica, who are twins. Wow, twins' birthday. Albert and Libby all celebrated their special day today. So we're going to sing happy birthday to them. By we, I mean all of us. Yes, I've had some water, so my throat's recovered a bit. It's magical water. If you drank Deer Park water, you'd know it's magical too. Not a sponsor. It's the only company I've ever reached out to say, hey, are you interested in a sponsorship? Like, you interested in doing something? And they ghosted me. So I think that's a no. All right, join with me in singing to Sandy, No Prima Donna, Jessica and Erica, the twins, Albert and Libby, all celebrating their birthdays today. And do this by first warming up with me, if you will. La 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 la. Excellent. Stand up, deep breath, project your voice to the back of the room, blend your voice with your neighbors, and singing to these wonderful people. Dancers, are they ready? Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Sandy, No Prima Donna, Jessica and Erica, Albert and Libby. Happy birthday to you. Jessica and Erica, I stumbled over twins. I almost said twins because it's in front of me and I'm like the anchor man. I read it if it's on the teleprompter. Sandy, No Prima Donna, Jessica and Erica, the twins, Albert and Libby, congratulations. This is your special day. Happy birthday to y'all. I realize there are a million places you could be, a million people you could be with, but here you are, here with us, celebrating your birthday. The privilege, the pleasure, the honor is all ours. Hopefully we can return some of that back to you and make your day just a little more special. You can kick that off by having free pancakes at Denny's, Waffle House, IHOP, McDonald's, Village Inn. I heard another buffer. Oh, we've got Beth. We're going to sing another verse for Beth. Beth, you barely made it. I was about to turn down the music, Beth. We're going to do one more verse just for Beth. Here we go. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Beth. Happy birthday to you. There you go. Happy birthday, Beth, as well. We'll add you to the list of all the people who are celebrating. Free pancakes for you as well. If they have a problem with that, just have them call me. Hey, can we dance in court before the judge is here? Yes, you can. Thanks for singing to my dad, Albert. That's awesome. Brianne, that's awesome. Happy birthday to Albert. Albert, you've got a great daughter. Let's see, I think we got everybody. Drum solos coming. Here we go. Air drums at the ready. I've got to move my water so I don't accidentally ruin something. You guys, we have practiced that so much. I bet any of you could sit down at a drum set and just play that part. We have done some good practicing. Hey. I just heard your home yell on that. 2 thumbs up from the no longer up for adoption child. You nearly broke your record. I nearly broke the record. It was good. All right. It's going to be a good hump day. How do I know? Because tonight my kids get free candy. Yes, tonight we have a trunk or treat we're taking them to. And we can't have a verdict during trunk or treat. Judge, I'm sorry. Speaking of Judge, I'm not proud of yesterday. And what's worse is it's the second. You know how some people just keep screwing up? I'm that guy. Keep doing things that I'm like, I should have thought that through. I need to not do counters that can offend people and hurt their feelings. I don't know if it hurt the judge's feelings, but thinking it back, it probably would have hurt my feelings if I had had somebody doing that to me. So I do apologize, Judge. We might have to reach out after the case is over, and I'll give you an apology personally. But this is the second time I've done that. And that makes me sad about myself. So no more counters for the buffer, verbal buffer. I realize, I hope he realizes I didn't intend for it to be like that, but I should have known better. So I'm all for doing counters in trial, but going forward, we need to only do things that either multiple people contribute to, it can be something that's said, but every time everybody does it, or hang on one second, somebody's trying to call. Let's see. Hey, who's this? Hello?
Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde, how are you
Hello?
doing? Hey, you're live on the air.
Hi. Okay. Oh, well, I kind of figured. Hi, everybody. But, okay, so I get you feel bad. We all feel bad about the judge. Okay? Like, I think we all learned a lesson.
Too. And I said I learned my lesson that time, and I didn't. Because Shannon and I did the sorry, not sorry counter.
I'm sorry.
Don't laugh.
Okay, this is why I could never sit next to you in school. Because
I would cheat off your homework. What? No, just kidding.
I was thinking about this last night, about how it really is, because we all know your heart. It was unintentional, and it really was for you wholesome fun. And it felt like when your reaction yesterday was, I felt like I had just got in trouble for something not so bad, but with my best friend.
Okay,
and that's in a group of my best friends.
Get in trouble. We did. Get in trouble. We did. We got in trouble, and I don't know if the judge felt bad, but I do owe him and Shannon an apology now. I've passed Shannon an apology through a friend because she can't talk to us directly because of the appeal and all that other stuff that was going on. But going forward. I love the counters. We're going to keep doing counters, but going forward, it's not going to be just one person, right? It could be not intentional, but it's going to be not intentional every time anybody says it, right? It could be something like that. Just, I don't want to single out a single person and make them feel like we were picking on them. And that's where I'm going to do better.
That makes me feel so much better. I thought we were going to have to give up on them, in general, and just have to go back to counting objections all the time. But I think that's a fair compromise.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I just need to do better personally, because I wouldn't want somebody doing that to me, because you guys know I have plenty of those things that you could count for me. Like how many times I'm wrong during the day, okay? That's like 50. But I'm going to do better.
I guess it's different for us because we would do that for you, and we think, but we feel like we're friends. So when you're friends with someone, you can kind of razz them up. And I guess we're not friends with these people, even though we feel like we know them really well.
Yeah, we feel close to them, and we're like, had we sat that close, we would be friends, and we'd be like, hey, this is fun. And
right, and we would say, hey, you said 5 times in 30 seconds today. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, but getting in trouble with you yesterday, I mean, it was. But getting in trouble with you yesterday honestly sparked this joy from my youth inside of me, where it was like, oh, we did it. We got in trouble.
Brings back the good old days when we were in detention, huh?
It did. It were the reasons why we got detention. But
and it was so worth it. You've been in detention and been like, it was worth it. I'd do it again.
Right, just once. And we learned a lesson, and that's all we can do. But it was nice to feel like I got in trouble with a group of best friends. Again, I'm almost 40, and I haven't felt that way in a long time, and I appreciate that from you.
That is awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for understanding as well. Appreciate it.
Well, right. I think we all do, and we love you, and we do love that judge.
We do.
Okay?
We do.
We'll just send it out there.
Thank you so
thanks.
Much.
Bye-bye.
Right, we'll see you. Bye. Well, let's see. I think Blackbird's
call from
Blackbird Squeaks. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Usually I do confessions after day drinking or a night full of drinking, and I haven't even had a sip of coffee yet.
It's Wednesday morning. It's like, forgive me, YouTube, for I have sinned. That's where we are.
Hey, I respect, and I'll go along with what you're saying. We need to do. We just need to mind our P's and Q's and do a little bit more direct fun. Directed toward being good. Yeah. But I would like to say also that if Judge Cannon saw what we were doing, I think he might have seen my short yesterday, and we said in the short, "We love you, Judge Cannon," and I think we made it good. I think we're okay.
I think so. But going forward, I know Shannon thought it was funny. And I think the judge thought it was funny, but going forward, I can't bet that people will think it's funny. Some people it might hurt, and I don't want to be the person that,
But
that
we can do
causes
better.
that. So yeah.
Hey, I was always the kid in class who understood when the teacher was done joking around. So I think I understand that. I respect that. So we can do it.
Thank you.
We can do good fun.
A great job on the short, by the way. Do you want to shout out your channel real quick so people can take a look if they want to see it?
Well, it is on Blackbird Squeaks. It's not.
Did you post it on Facebook as well?
I don't do a lot of posting from that channel on Facebook. I have a different channel.
Okay.
I would love, if I were still doing that channel, I'd love to shout it out. But,
Okay. Cool.
Everything takes time.
Awesome.
All
Blackbird
right,
Squeaks, thank you very much.
Thanks.
We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.
All right. What we are doing here, Amanda, by the way. Amanda Florentine. Struggling on the last part. We're sorry, Judge. Never meant any ill. Love RA family. Yes, we do apologize. Was the average number of communications between M and Rusty ever corrected? No. She said 42 over a 6 month period, but it was more like 15 to 19, I think. You're correct. It was not corrected. Oops. Is this Donnie?
Yeah, it's just real quick. I just want to say thank you to one of the women in the chat before you went on live. She had said something in a sentence that her son was autistic and that I made his belly laugh, and she appreciated it. So I just wanted to, I don't know who it is. It's whoever's going to probably pop up. I'm not on the chat. I can't see the words right now.
Yeah.
But I just want to, you see? You see what I do?
Yep.
I just wish more people would be more appreciative of me.
I'm glad you figured out that the block button was not the same as the like button. You were trying to like people's comments. You were
42.
Yeah.
42 were unblocked because of you.
Yeah. I'm glad we figured that out.
I did that out of respect for you.
Thank you, Donnie.
But thank you to the woman. I don't know your name. There's so many names to remember, but that's what I do.
It was Krista Limited Edition.
That's a long name. All right. Have a good day. Love you.
Bye. We're going to teach Donnie how to use YouTube eventually. He's going to get it. You can teach an old dog new tricks, right, Donnie? I love Donnie. All right, we're getting ready to go back to trial today. What we're expecting is some jury instructions, closing arguments, and deliberation. And some of us, we're going to do a poll. Some of us might be expecting a verdict, but not sure on that one. Let's see. How about a love button? That would be interesting. Have different levels of liking. All right. Just hit like and got 333. Exit 333. Lobo, congratulations on 333. We're now up to 357, which can fire a 38, which we learned in this trial. Let's see. Good morning, Scott. The judge is probably listening to your podcast before court starts. I hope so. I hope it puts a smile on his face. Spice meters. Spice meter is fun. Spice meter is tricky. Because this gets really nerdy, but there are only a certain number of things I can show on the screen at once easily. And if I were to do a counter in the corner, like right now we have like the verbal buffer counter, which is not working. Oh no, I've got the replay thing. So see the replay button. If I turn the replay button on, I also have my face that's turned on. That's two things, and I have the chat that's on screen. Those are three, and I can't put anything else on. So I have to either get rid of an overlay button or get rid of chat or something like that. It gets tricky. So I might need to buy more equipment. So more equipment solves all the problems. I'm excited because we are. If you guys haven't noticed, I try to improve something about my channel every month, where I look at something that I don't like, and usually it's technical. Usually it's like I could do better here, I could do better here. We could get a better feed this way. I could do better with audio if I did this. If I were able to have this piece of equipment, it would make this. We do that, and so this is the time period of the month when I'm about. Oh, we got a scam call. Hang on. Hello.
Hi, Rebecca. I am reaching out to assist you in boosting your Medicare coverage during the 2025 open enrollment. You may qualify for additional benefits with no out-of-pocket co-payments. Do you currently have Medicare Parts A and B?
Let me find my wallet. I have a card in there somewhere.
No worries. Do you have red, blue, and white Medicare cards?
I am colorblind, dear. I don't know what color they are.
No worries. Do you have red, blue, and white Medicare cards?
If I hold them up to the phone, can you tell me what color? No, Karen. It was a bot. I couldn't get past it. I don't want to say yes. You don't want to say yes on these. That's the trick. It's a robot say yes. Nope, I don't want to say yes. Oh, earthquake in the courtroom, and we watched it live. We watched it live right here. Legally Blonde, more equipment fund, helping feel like a kid again. Thank you, Legally Blonde. What I'm excited about is I think it's going to be 2110 is what it is. 2110. It's a form of compression for video that allows me to send a lot of signals down a network cable instead of down an SDI cable. Like this SDI cable, it's really cool, and it's got nice little connectors and everything. This thing runs about $40 for this cable, which is a lot. For $40, I can get 200 feet of Cat 6 network cable that's capable of pushing 6 signals bidirectionally. So,
call from
Ricky Watson.
Ricky Watson, my friend. How are you? You're up early. You out milking the cows or feeding the horses or something?
I just got done feeding.
Mm-hmm.
I just got back in the house about the time you said I'm colorblind.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, gosh dog, all right, so am I, so don't worry about it.
Well, I have a confession.
Oh, yes, sir.
I lie. I lie to telemarketers.
Oh, okay.
I'm more blind than I am colorblind. Like I can barely read the words on the screen on the across the room. Which as a kid I used to be able to read things miles away. My eyes were perfect, but I've never been colorblind. At least I've been able to pass all the tests. So if I am colorblind, it's not so bad that it's I can't tell things apart. Which means I'm not colorblind. Well, but I didn't know you were colorblind. Well, have you ever got a speeding ticket and you said, well, it looks green to me? Have you ever done that one?
We won't talk about what I've said about things like that.
Statute of limitations and all, yeah.
Yeah, sir. That's one of them ones you just plead the fifth on and don't worry about it.
That's awesome. Well, Ricky, it's good to hear you this morning. Glad the animals got fed and you're up and at it. So have yourself a wonderful day.
Hey, have a good Wednesday, bud.
All right, you too. We'll see you.
All right, bud. Bye. Y'all be careful.
You too. Bye. Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate it. Amber is on the phone, who somehow was able to bypass this call screening feature. Amber, I don't know how you do that still, but welcome.
I don't know how I do it either. I'm still not feeling the greatest with the migraine, but I just wanted to tell you, I do count how many times you're wrong every day, and so far you're at 4. Love y'all. Bye.
Thanks, Amber. Best mods ever. -1. That's awesome. Stephanie says, I got a fin towards that 40. All right. Thank you for your dedication to improving your channel for us. I'm excited too. This is in a moment of sincerity. Let me tell you, this is the best job ever. It is a dream job for me. It is unbelievable that I get to wake up in the morning and say, this is what I get to do for work. And I love it. And I've loved it. And we've loved it now for over 2 years, and not a hint of slowing down. It is so exciting to be able to do this. It's very rewarding personally. I learn a lot of lessons. I kick myself in the butt a little bit. Sometimes I need a little bit more. Today I learned another lesson, so we'll do better. But Yaku, good day, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Also, we've got 5 memberships gifted by Danny Austin. Danny, thank you. The wise world of Daniel. Do not repeat yourself. I can't read what it says. My eyes are bad. Trying to read your avatar. Can somebody tell me what that says on the big screen? Do not repeat yourself. Something you the first time. I ignored you the first time. There you go. Danny, love it. Love the profile picture. All right. We are... Can we do a new verdict poll since we listened to the calls yesterday? We can. We'll do one more. Sorry, I need to put this cable down before I break it. Anyway, the exciting thing, the tech gear we're looking for, it could be useful in court because it makes you not have to run a lot of cables. Let's see. As a colorblind person of blues and greens, my green is green. It may not be the same as your green. That's what we'll never know. You can never tell people what green looks like to you. I just know that grass is green and that's the way it should be for me. But somebody else might see it as blue and think it's green. Let's see. The analyst said there were 3,478 divided by 82.5 communications. The calculation should have been 3,478 divided by 182.5, which is 19.19 calls and texts a day. Very different. So she was completely off. And she messed up on how many days were in a 6-month period, I think, right? That's where it was. UK Fan 75, welcome to the gallery. Thank you for your continued support. Makes it all possible here. Zimmy, I sent you the video from the field trip to the house. Awesome. I need to check that out. I'm not sure if we're going to watch that or not. What are we doing today? We're doing closing arguments. There's no way we're going to have a verdict as fast as Sarah Boone's. Honestly, when we did the poll last time, we had, 56% voted to convict? We're split, and this is a 12-person jury. Need to get some of those glasses. Those glasses are amazing. Whoever invented those. I love watching the videos of people putting those on for the first time. Can we count how many slides are used in all the closing arguments? It would just make me frustrated. Yes, we could. But that's something we could count in the beginning and the end. There's really not a lot in the middle because PowerPoints are not evidence generally. That's the individual pictures are. It would be an open and closing counter. Zimmy, did you send it to WeTransfer? Where did you send that video to? Looks like we're about to kick things off.
All right, y'all, let me see it.
No more counter today. Sorry, Judge. This is the most people we've ever seen in this court. A lot of people expecting a verdict. We might have some addicts in there. By addicts, I mean fans of the channel. They said they would be going today. Red Pen 275 is the number.
Did y'all get a chance to look over I just now was able to get y'all a printed copy, but I sent y'all electronic copies yesterday. Were y'all able to review the charge and were there any issues we needed to take up?
I don't believe so, no.
Not this moment, Judge.
No, we just hang around, Judge.
All right.
The judge called us out for doing a verbal buffer counter of him. And I feel bad.
Have this little guide on the top that
Judge Cannon, I do apologize.
I went through and dropped out last night. I emailed you on one of them. trying to remember what the last one was. I think it was a simple assault, reasonable fear language. I took that out, and I took that out of the aggravated assault charge as well, since it's not charged that way. All right, with that, are y'all ready to proceed?
Lots of people in court.
Anything else we need to take up before we bring the jurors in?
No.
All right, bring them in.
If you will bring the jury.
We'll see if they need a break when you get done with your opening. If they don't, then we'll let y'all go for about an hour, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll let y'all conclude, and then we'll hopefully be close to lunch break by then, I think. I don't know what time. No one talked to me about the food getting here. Let me do.
Judge is worried about lunch already, which is appropriate because he has a small group of people who depend on him for regular feeding. Yes, that would be the jury. He's responsible for their care and keeping. Ann says, keep going back to the picture of Scott's apartment with the poop all over the floor. Was that ever addressed? Yes, he said he was like kept out of it. Like his dog was up there and he wasn't allowed to go there for a while. I'm not sure if I don't think that argument really held a lot of weight with me because we're hearing from other people that he sort of neglected to care for animals that he was responsible for at times. Court volume is low, but I think it's just the judge's mic. He's talking in a different mic. We're going to see if we can get it a little better. I just remembered something I need to buy from Amazon.
We haven't had.
Okay, I'll boost the levels here a little bit, but it might be really loud when they turn the mics on. Everyone's standing for the jury except for one defense attorney and the defendant. And one person in court. This just seems weird.
All right. We ready to proceed to closing statements?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Franklin, you intend to go first and last?
Yes, Judge.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Georgia law allows for the party with the burden of proof to go first and last for a closing argument. So Ms. Frankish will get an opportunity to talk to you twice. Mr. Ray and Mr. Weaver will talk to you in the middle. I believe Ms. Frankish is going to handle the closing arguments for the state, and Mr. Fogus is going to do his best to remain silent. If he needs to say something, we'll probably give him the opportunity, but I believe Mr. Weaver and Mr. Ray want to split theirs up and want to both talk, and that'll be fine. I anticipate what's going to happen is Ms. Frankish is going to go for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then save an hour and a half or so for her final close. If we need a break in 30 minutes, we'll take a break. It's going to be a long day. Y'all are going to be sitting there listening for a long time. If y'all need a break, if we need this, y'all need to go reload your coffee, that's fine, we'll do it. I've told Mr. Weaver and Mr. Ray that we will stop about halfway through theirs regardless, and we will take a a full break at that point and give you all a chance to walk and stretch and grab a cup of coffee. We will go till when defense finishes their closing. It should be right at noon. We should have food available for you. We'll take a 30-minute lunch break. Then we'll start back with Ms. Frankish will resume her closing statements. Then we'll probably take another short break, and then I'll give you the jury charge. Then y'all will have the case. It's going to then take us another
hour.
We did a pretty good job yesterday gathering up all the exhibits and everything for you, but we'll still have to get all that out there, but I'll give you instructions for that. But there will be another break before y'all jump in and start deliberating, just so y'all know. And then we'll also have to talk to the alternates and give them instructions. All right, with all that, Ms. Frankish, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Judge.
Here we go. State begins the closing arguments. There's no hard time for them to finish by. They're going to be about 2 hours each, though.
You have a power cord hooked up to the laptop?
Yes. Oh, the power cord? No, but I have the USB.
So, yeah, power, it's your display is going to sleep. So plug a power cord into the laptop. It's on the screen.
I know, I have a privacy. It's the audio that's not playing.
Oh, is it not playing audio right now?
Maybe I'm...
It's always bad when the TV doesn't work for the lawyers.
We need to be on the same page.
Okay.
All right. And so I don't want to be confused. But I remember you telling me he's on the burn pile.
Mm-hmm.
Were you lying about Scott? Is Scott, I mean, you think what? You tell me what happened.
I can tell you that there should not have been as much damage as there was done.
I don't know what that means.
That body should not have been burned up.
This case is about Gary Wayne Farris. And you're here because Melody Farris shot him, concealed his death by putting him on a burn pile on their property like he was trash. This is not a chess match or a well-played orchestra, as Miss Farris would lead you to believe. This is murder, and it is not a game. Murder is the highest crime we have, and it is your duty to hold people accountable when they commit that crime. Murder does not happen often in Cherokee County. You are in a unique position as a juror, as a Cherokee County citizen, to make sure that remains the case. And to hold people accountable who commit those crimes in your county, to your citizens. You have heard 3.5 weeks of evidence, maybe 4, I've lost count. But today, I'm going to go over the law with you and how you apply that law to the facts and the evidence that you've heard. The law instructs you to determine the facts. The facts are for you to determine. We have presented you the evidence, the witnesses, the exhibits, but you get to determine what happened in this case. And then you'll apply the law that the judge instructs you to those facts. You are bound by the law. After the judge instructs you on the law, as he stated he will do for about 40 minutes or so, you will be armed with not only all of the materials that we gave you, the evidence, but you will also have the tools, which is the law. You will be in the position to convict Melody Farris. We talk about duty a lot. A juror's duty. You took an oath. The object of the discovery, the object is the discovery of truth. It is your duty to seek the truth of what happened to Gary Farris. You are not to seek doubt. All of the evidence before you points to her guilt. It is not your duty to go through all of that evidence, to find all the holes that are unreasonable, and to come up with some hypothesis that it doesn't even make sense. Your duty is the truth. And see, the defense wants you to ignore all the evidence that points to their client's guilt. They don't like the truth. They're going to lead you in a different direction. That will not make sense. That is not reasonable. Stay on the path of truth, and you will come to the conclusion to convict Melody Farris. The defense is going to talk about the state's burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. As the state, we have to prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt. But that is just that, a reasonable doubt. The doubt of a fair-minded, impartial juror seeking the truth. If there's a doubt in your mind, it has to be reasonable to acquit. It cannot be a doubt that makes no sense, that you have no answers for. That's not a reasonable doubt. And in this case, we have proven it beyond a reasonable doubt. All of the doubts that they're going to get up here and try to plant in your mind are not reasonable. And the evidence shows that. And the law demands it. The defense is going to want you to believe that this standard is unattainable. They may even show that stair-step picture that they showed an opening of each burden as it gets higher and higher with reasonable doubt at the top.
She's burning their evidence, their displays before they use them.
Define reasonable doubt with steps. It is defined in the law. It is not to a mathematical certainty. It is not beyond all doubt. Beyond all doubt is unattainable. Crimes are not committed for everyone to solve and know about every single detail. Crimes are committed and concealed because no one wants to be caught. That's what you have in this case. No square circles. Essentially, that's what the defense is going to want you to figure out. How to make this circle into a square. You can't do that. That's impossible. The pieces fit together and they show the truth. We asked you in jury selection about your experiences in your life, things that you've been through. We're asking you to bring your common sense and reasoning into that deliberation room. Do not leave it behind. Because common sense and reason gets you through life. That's what you need to apply to this case. You make inferences you can make deductions and reach the conclusions based on what you know, what you've experienced, the evidence, your common sense. That's how you'll reach the verdict in this case. In the beginning of this case, you were informed that you must be an impartial juror, not biased to either side. Impartiality. That's the starting point. And that she has the presumption of innocence. Well, that was 4 weeks ago. That was before you heard all the evidence. That was before you actually realized that she's just cloaked in all her lies. You no longer are impartial. You have all of the information, all of the evidence. And that leads to one conclusion, which is that she's guilty. She is no longer presumed innocent in your eyes. That is no longer where she sits. There are two types of evidence that the judge will instruct you on, direct and circumstantial. A lot of shows and podcasts and commentators, they all say, well, it's just circumstantial. Right? We've all heard that. But the law says you give whatever evidence, whatever weight to whatever evidence you want. There is no legal difference between circumstantial or direct. You could have the most convincing circumstantial evidence, and yet the direct evidence is just, well, maybe. Or you could have evidence that's actually both. Let me give an example. I have a 3-year-old, and the other night he was eating dinner at the table, and I ran upstairs to go get his sister's pajamas or something. We have a box of cookies on the counter by the cookie tin. They weren't in the cookie tin, they were in the box. And I come downstairs, and he had crumbs all over his face. There was a cookie missing. And so, based on that circumstantial evidence, I could infer my child stole a cookie out of that cookie box. I'm not going to infer that some cookie fairy came into my house and took it. That's not reasonable. But that is circumstantial evidence.
There are no such thing as cookie fairies.
Now, had the box been knocked over on the floor and the crumbs sitting there on the floor and my dog is laying on the couch licking his paws, well, that scene points to my crazy dog probably jumped on the counter, got a cookie out of the box and ate it on the floor. I don't have to see who took the cookie to know who took the cookie. And the scene leads me to believe it's one or the other. Because I know my child and I know my crazy dog. So circumstantial evidence is a conclusion that you can reach based on inferences. Direct evidence is something you heard, saw, tasted, smelled, Scott seeing blood on the floor in the basement. All of the testimony you heard, those are things that they experienced firsthand, the witnesses. It's direct evidence. There is no legal difference. You give whatever weight to whatever piece of evidence you deem appropriate. You get to determine the credibility of all the witnesses in this case. To do that, you can consider all the facts and circumstances of the case, and on the next slide there's going to be a non-exhaustive list of other factors. In this case, motive, bias, all of those come up. Scott, Emily, and Chris will not get their father back whether they get up there, they have no motive to lie to you because Gary's not walking back through that door. That's their mother. They have no reason to lie. They don't want this. They don't want her sitting there. They don't want Gary gone from their lives. All they wanted is for you to have the truth. Martha, she is the epitome of a credible witness. Look up credible witness in the dictionary. It's a picture of Martha Barton. She loved Melody. She knew it was the right thing to do to come in here and tell you people the truth because you need to know the whole story. She had no motive to lie.
I really liked Martha Jane. She was
Consider
good.
all of these factors
Just noticed I color coordinated with
when
the
you're giving
PowerPoint
credibility to
today.
a witness.
Unintentional.
All of the facts and circumstances which they testify, their manner of testifying, their means and opportunity of knowing facts, the nature of the facts, the probability or improbability of the existence of that fact, the interest or lack of interest in the outcome of the case, and their personal credibility as you observe it. You actually weigh people's credibility every single day without really thinking about it. You choose who your friends are, you choose who you want around your family, who you hang out with at work. You decide that based on a person's credibility. This is no different. The nature of the facts, the nature about the facts of which they testify, let's talk about that for a second. David, Melody's friend, who came in here talking about his one experience with Scott in the driveway in the trailer, he didn't really have the means and opportunity of knowing the facts surrounding that situation. He knew Melody for like a second. Scott didn't know who he was. You know what Scott knows? Scott knows Melody killed his dad and is running around with Rusty Barton still and letting strangers over to the house and throwing Christmas parties. Yeah, he's going to be mad. His dad was just murdered and burned up in a burn pile on his own property by his mother. And now some strange man is coming and using his trailer. He's going to be mad. David had no perception of that. Zero. And he has an interest in the outcome of this case. He doesn't want to see his friend go to jail. We've talked about this. You must apply your common sense and reason to decide what testimony you believe or don't believe. Again, you weigh people's credibility all the time without even knowing it. The law allows you and demands that you determine who to believe and who not to believe. And some people, you can believe some things they say and not some things they say, right? Like Rusty Barton. He plays both sides. We know that. We saw that. He wants to stay out of trouble, yet he doesn't want to upset Melody. We know what he said was the truth about her statement, he's in the burn pile, because of the context in which he said it. We know the recantation is a lie because it makes no sense. Why, if she gave that statement at Martha Jane's house after Gary's remains were found, why would Rusty respond with, "Don't tell me anything else"? And he references that 2:20 a.m. call. And then the call you just heard, he references it again. And that was August 2nd of 2018. That is a witness. You'll have to resolve the conflicts of his credibility. but he was up there long enough. Y'all know the kind of person he is. Use your common sense and reasoning. Now I want to talk to you about what she is charged with in the indictment. And you'll have a copy of the indictment in the back with all the charges in it. I'm going to start with 4 and 5. We've got malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, concealing the death of another, and making a false statement. I'm going to start from the bottom and then go to the more serious charges. Okay. First of all, let me say this. If the defense doesn't get up here and concede making a false statement, no credibility to the closing argument.
Whoa.
Knowingly and willfully making a false statement in any matter within the jurisdiction of the government of any county.
Mr. President.
Like Michael Ray said in his opening, lying to the police. I lost count how many times that woman lied to those police. But specifically this charge is about being currently in an affair with Rusty Barton. And y'all heard that voicemail on June, I think it was 25th. It was like less than a week before Gary's remains were found. Call me back, love you. That affair didn't end a year before. She just saw the unraveling. She didn't even own up to any affairs. She lied about Ted Wiley. Oh, we were just friends. We were all just friends. We know that's not true. You literally left your husband and went to stay with him for a significant amount of time. And he had to take the stand and talk about their relationship. If they don't get up here and concede that, you can't give their closing any credibility.
She said it again.
Concealing the death of another.
If they don't concede that, you can't give them any
Commit
credibility.
this crime by concealing the death
They're going to concede
of
it.
another.
They're going to use that to their
Hindering
benefit.
the discovery of whether or not such person was unlawfully killed, i.e. putting a body in a burn pile to conceal that he was shot to death. Concealment. Now we're going to go to count 1, malice murder. Causing the death of another person, in this case Gary Farris, unlawfully and with malice aforethought. Malice. That's what this charge is about. Malice is doing something maliciously, which means you have an abandoned and malignant heart. Malice can be formed in an instant. Now, we have a lot of evidence of malice in this case. Malice is not premeditation or anything like that. It's not ill will or hatred, although we have hatred. She despised Gary. That's no secret. She intended to kill him without a legal justification. The state does not have to prove premeditation, although we have evidence of premeditation in this case. Taking that gun from Martha, telling Addison not to spend the night, she knew this day would come. There is no required time to form malice, like I said. Malice can be formed in an instant. Every time she saw Gary, she had malice. Felony murder is another type of murder, which essentially is when you cause the death of another during the commission of a felony. And in this case, that's aggravated assault. Aggravated assault will be defined in the next slide, but it's shooting someone or pointing a gun at someone. That's aggravated assault. And that caused the death of Gary Farris. We do not have to show in felony murder that Melody acted with malice, even though we know she did, this charge does not require malice. It just requires the commission of a felony and someone resulting in somebody dying. The judge will instruct you aggravated assault is a felony. There needs to be what's called proximate cause to the death. So the felony has to have resulted somehow in the death or be connected to the death, which we have.
This is a great closing so
The
far.
judge will give you a definition of a simple assault, so you know what assaulted means, assaulted another person with a deadly weapon. And he will also instruct you that a firearm legally is a deadly weapon. We do not have to prove injury, although we have that in this case. It's not required. You can assault a person by instilling fear, but that's not what we have here. We actually have a shooting, and we have a death. I want to talk about the state's burden. Like I said, reasonable doubt cannot be measured. They will want you to believe that that burden cannot be reached and it is unattainable. They will get up here and try to instill upon you that there's no way we can ever prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, that is just not the law. The law does not require beyond all doubt. We need order and justice, and that means we prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt. You have more than what you need in this case to convict Melody Farris. I want to talk about grave suspicion and mere presence because I assure you that Mr. Ray or Mr. Weaver will get up here and talk about how we just have grave suspicion of Melody. She was merely present at the home when he died. No. We have way more than that. What they have is a grave suspicion of Scott, which is based on speculation and conjecture. And that's what that charge says. You cannot convict on speculation and conjecture. We can't even indict on speculation and conjecture. That's not even probable cause. Mere presence. Scott wasn't even merely present in the home. He was merely present at the barn. Compare the two, right? Grave suspicion, mere presence. Scott Farris. They have suspicion based on what? He's 6'5". He has a messy apartment. He was in the military. I'm sorry, is that a suspicion these days? Do we have to suspect everybody in the military is a murderer? Grave suspicion. Speculation and conjecture. That's what they're going to throw at you about Scott Farris. That was all their defense witnesses. Well, I just didn't like the way he talked to me. Well, I'm sorry his dad was brutally murdered by his mother. I think he's allowed to be angry. But Melody, we're here because Melody is sitting in that chair. And we have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that she is the one that murdered Gary Farris. The judge is going to instruct you on what impeaching a witness is. It's essentially showing that a witness is unworthy of belief. You can attack the credibility, and he'll give you all those charges in the jury charge. We saw some of that here. But you know, the person whose credibility that was attacked the most is Melody's. I mean, you saw Amanda sit on that stand, and Mr. Fogus showed her the text messages of Melody lying to her about going to Minnesota, did you see Amanda's demeanor? Betrayal, disappointment. That's attacking her credibility. She's not worthy of belief. Amanda knows that. Her other children definitely know that. They sat up here and told you that. To that same vein, consider the source of a witness's information. If that witness's information is coming from Melody Farris, it is not worthy of belief. That's how you impeach someone. Every crime must be committed with criminal intent. To determine criminal intent, you can consider words of the defendant, conduct, demeanor, motive, and any other circumstance that you deem relevant. We have a lot of intent in this case. We even have a text message where she says, "I told him I hope you die a gruesome death." If that's not direct evidence of intent, I don't know what is. Her demeanor when she found out about Rusty's statement, she was angry. She was mad at him. Her motive, she had plenty of motive. She's the only one that had motive. I've said this. She despised Gary. She hated that he was giving away their money, her money. That was the main motive. Rusty was a bonus. She was mad about that money. And you could tell that was her motive because after the offense, she was on a money hunt. It was all about the money. And we'll get into that in the next close. Telling Addison not to sleep over, she had criminal intent that night to kill her husband. And she, one, didn't want witnesses. Two, never told her grandkids that they could not spend the night. Telling people to shh. I thought I told you to stop talking. Everything she said and did in this case not only proves that she committed these crimes, but she did it with malice aforethought and an abandoned, malignant heart. She stood to inherit all of his money. She burned the remains of her husband for almost 39 years in the hopes it would look like an accident.
She didn't burn them for 39 years. The phrasing was bad there.
All because she wanted his money and to live a life with Rusty. In my next close, I'm going to talk about the evidence and why the evidence and the law demands a verdict of guilty in this case.
32 and a half minutes there.
Let's go ahead and take a quick break. I'm going to try to set up another microphone over here. All right. So we'll try to keep it to 10 minutes.
This is interesting.
Y'all can go run down and get a cup of coffee if you need to.
The judge saying he wants to set up a microphone. It's because people in chat are saying, you know, we can't hear. Can you fix the audio? He's following this online. I don't think he's on our channel because our audio's great. But we might get another microphone turned on to allow them to walk around a little bit. I think a lapel mic would be great. But only using half an hour, basically. That's pretty quick. I think it was not rushed. It was slow. It was deliberate. Ms. Frankish did a really good job there. Ooh. Reporter shaking Chris's hand there, greeting the family. The reporter's been there most of the trial. I think he came in a day or two into the trial. People commenting on he's wearing a suit. He has not worn a suit to this point, so he's definitely dressed up more than before. He has amazing hair. He has a lot of it. He's a reporter. Haven't seen Amanda yet. I don't think Amanda's in the courtroom. We may have some people in the courtroom though. We'll see. The judge is probably watching one of the big channels that's filming. And the audio is poor. So we've had to do a lot to fix the audio levels. No Amanda and Chad. Amanda is there. I didn't see her. I don't think that was her right behind Melody. I didn't get a good look at her. I was looking away at something else, I think, wouldn't it? She's seated behind her mother. Is the clock crooked? Yes! Yes, it's crooked. It's definitely crooked. Let me go look at... I've got my replay machine fixed, so let me see if I can rewind just a little bit. Let's see. A shot of Melody. Okay. So here's... You're saying it's just she's just behind the defense attorney? I'm going to rewind really quickly here, so it's going to get... Okay, let's see. That would be her right there. That's Amanda. See if we get a better shot. No. There's Chris. We saw Chris. Let's see what else we got. Oh, there's Chris again. This is how I watch things. Reverse fast play. I don't know if that might be Amanda. There's Scott. Chris again. They're all on the state side. I don't know. I can't tell. Can't tell. All right. Did I miss a call? Hope not. Nope. I think it's a really good opening. A really good opening to the closing arguments. She saved a lot of time. She took the air out of the defense sails. She literally started. She burned their exhibits before they got to use them. She's got a good idea. If they walked into court with a big huge chart that shows the levels of the highest threshold that you need to meet, she basically burned their displays. And if they get up there and show you, that doesn't matter. That doesn't count. Don't believe that. Don't believe. And her comments, if the defense doesn't stand up here and concede that she lied, okay, that last charge, that she lied to the police, then don't give them their closing arguments any credibility. That's a double-edged sword. Okay, first of all, I think the defense probably could have objected and probably won that one. But the if the defense gets up and do admit that, which I think they will admit that she lied. Now the jury's like, so they did what they were supposed to, so now we do believe them? Right? Can that not go against the state a little bit? Maybe don't use the term burned. She burns. Okay. She deflated their arguments. I don't think it's Amanda. It doesn't look like how she looked on the stand. So, I mean, she could have changed her hair a lot, but it's just a bad angle to see. Let me see if we can go back. I think there was a point. Oh, I didn't save it. Thought there was a point where they panned the audience. I don't think that's Amanda. Yesterday we heard a call that Melody said Chris said Addison couldn't stay, but it was her. Yeah. Here's the thing, though. We've heard Melody controlling what people say to other people a lot. And I wonder if Amanda heard from Melody that Chris said the girls couldn't stay. He's on the burn pile. That's like the closest thing they have to a confession, which technically may be a confession. Amanda's husband is also named Chris. But I thought it was a different Chris, right? Might just be you. Might just be you. Sorry. Amanda in dark blue shirt, 3 rows back. We jump to the end and see if we see them when they're walking out. Okay, let's take a look at this one. I'm not seeing Amanda in there. I don't see her. She's definitely not sitting with the other boys. Christine, you're right. The cameraman would be all over her if she was there. They'd find an angle. I think you're buying this. It's the time machine. We can go back in time and see things. I figured out what was the problem. My hard drive was full. Apparently 2 terabytes gets full really quickly when you're recording in HD. And so I need another drive. It's capable of holding two drives at once. Gonna have to get another drive, but it's cool. We've made mistakes on names all this time. This case has had a lot of confusing names and duplicates. No worries. Uh, 16 terabyte might be outside of my price range, Jim Bob. I'm getting, I think, a 2 terabyte. A Samsung 2 terabyte 870 Evo SATA 3 internal SSD. That's the one I go with. But I'm a little bummed because it's within my budget. But I happen to know it was like $40 cheaper last week. And so I'm looking for someone else that's selling it cheaper than Amazon has it right now. I knew it was on sale. I should have got it when it was on sale. Sinbad, I use close to 2 terabytes a day. Angelique, I don't think you're going to see sadness from Melody about Gary's passing. The truth of the matter is, if he had died of natural causes, I don't think he would have seen it either. I think their relationship had deteriorated to the point where, she was good with it. You guys keep saying, take a look at the new thumbnail. I think we're coming back to court here in just a minute. Let me see what I can do. Here's the new thumbnail right here. It's got a lot of things on it. Return to MJ on the 38. The revolver, that's funny. There's a lot here. Seems like a long time ago when we had lions, tigers, and bears out at the farm. All? She's saying all. Forward. Oh, my goodness. Trail camera. Wonder if the state's going to say anything in their closing about the dummy that got shot. They got shot so much. And all the audio tests, they spent so much time on that testimony before. I don't need to move my head. They save that space just for me, so I can be on screen and still show it. Screams with Sam. Thank you very much. Almost to the year mark. Waiting for the judge. Wait for the audio.
I'm going to direct the audience that unless you're a member of the media, you cannot have your phones out. And I don't generally get bent out of shape about things when the phones go off during court. I just pretend I don't hear it until it goes off the second time. But if your phone goes off, you'll be removed from the audience. So, but media folks can have yours out and can be taking notes or whatever, but members of the public who have not filed a Rule 22 may not. All right.
File your paperwork, folks.
So make sure you have it on mute, and if you're not certain, or if you have some monitor like I do that will go off even if you have it on mute, turn it off. Well, I didn't put it back on after the other day, so I can do I can eat whatever I want at the moment.
Grace Sanchez, thank you very much. We love you, RA. Go buy what you need for what you do for us. Thank you. I will. I'm just shopping for it right now. Thank you, but thank you for the super chat. Very, very much appreciated. I almost muted my phone when he chastised us a little bit. Melody wearing pearls for this last day of trial. Just like it began, the pearl earrings have been constant throughout the trial. I think every day she's had those. I didn't watch everyone, but every day I saw she was definitely wearing the pearl earrings.
All right, Mr. Correa, go ahead.
May it please the court, opposing counsel. Ladies and gentlemen, first off, on behalf of Mr. Weaver and Ms. Farris, thank you very much. I know that this has been, for y'all, a long 4 weeks, and definitely for all the lawyers, it's been a long 5 weeks of dealing with this case. And we note that you have been paying diligent attention, taking your notes, and we are very appreciative of that. And with that, and like I told you on October the 7th, when I did my opening statement, you're getting on the Ferris wheel. And it is, in fact, this family is a soap opera. And I think through the testimony that you saw that. Now, first off, the indictment, Ms. Frankish went over the indictment with you, so I'll just touch on it briefly. Count 1, malice murder. Count 2, felony murder. Count 3, aggravated assault. Count 4, concealing the death. And count 5, making false statements. Now, this is just to point out, Ms. Frankish pointed out that, we're disingenuous if we don't just get up here and freely admit about count 5 making a false statement. So I'll just go ahead and give you a preview that Mr. Weaver is going to be coming up with. He does not have a PowerPoint. He's got 2 books and about 10 pieces of paper, and he's going to be specifically addressing that with you. But what I will be doing in mine is walking you through what the actual physical evidence was in the case, and we're actually going to start by walking through the front door of the Farris property. Now, first off, with reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt is the doubt of a fair-minded, impartial juror honestly seeking the truth. Ms. Franklin said it to you. I said it to you in opening. The judge is going to say it to you again. Mr. Weaver is going to say it to you again. And Ms. Frankish was right. There is a stair step. I found that several years ago, and I have used it ever since, and I absolutely love it because it shows what reasonable doubt is. Because you're not finding this case and deciding this case based on reasonable doubt. It is beyond reasonable doubt. So it's a doubt that you can give a reason for. They have to go beyond that. They don't just get up to the reasonable doubt step and stop, because that's not guilty. They got to get up on that top step, beyond that doubt. And it is a long burden. Look at all the stairs, no evidence until a reasonable suspicion, probable cause, preponderance, clear and convincing, reasonable doubt, and then finally beyond reasonable doubt. They have not come even close to beyond reasonable doubt. The state has introduced a case to you and spent 4 weeks presenting evidence, and it is so full of holes, and we're going to go through all of those. Remember I told you about when John Luke and I were getting ready for this case, and he had kind of hit a wall that day. And he was like, I'm leaving. I'm done. Can't listen to any more interviews. There are so many hours and hours of interviews in this case. He was like, I'm leaving. And he went to the drugstore close to our office. But he was just talking to the clerk there, and she said, well, sometimes the greatest questions go unanswered. Came back in rejuvenated the next day. And we're like, hey, we got a theory. Because we do have a lot of unanswered questions. So what are just some of those? The questions that have no answers in this case. How about the easiest one? Where was Gary shot? All right, if you remember from that drawing from Dr. Gooding, and I'll show it later, he could have been shot here. But she also said he could have been shot here. They don't actually know where he was shot. They don't have an entrance wound. They don't have a wound path. They don't have an exit wound. And in fact, and I'll go over it more later, Dr. Ayden stated that the bullet is lodged in the soft tissue, never entered the body cavity. In that fact, that bullet that they found in the burn pile, there's no way that it would cause death. It would cause some bleeding. He said it could possibly bruise the lung. But in his medical opinion, it's impossible that that bullet caused the death. How was he put on the burn pile? This trial started out, it was a week of establishing the fact that they have a tractor. And there are now hundreds of photographs of a tractor and an RTV. But how did he get on there? And we'll go through what the tractor and the RTV shows.
My desk
Where is
matches
the
his
gun?
carbon fiber background.
No idea. How about where are the bullets? No idea. Scott's odd behavior, and I'll talk more about that shortly. How did Gary even die? And that ties into where Gary was shot. You heard Dr. Ayden say that he would have to say that the manner of death is undetermined and that the cause of death is undetermined. And he said that because that was his medical opinion. And he was very clear in stating that I am saying this because I just do not have the facts. And I have not been given the facts. And the state hasn't shown me the facts to be able to make to a medical certainty of what the cause of death was and the manner of death was. And there are countless others. And we're going to be going through several. So, walking through the crime scene. This is the front door of the Farris home. You'll remember from talking, or from the testimony to that point in time, he was an investigator, now he works at the school, Shaw. If you remember him. Shaw stated that he was brought back in, I don't think he can remember who told him to, but there was a blood droplet. I don't think my little pointer will work on the TV, but it's right there, kind of underneath the window in the middle of that hallway that there was a blood droplet. A potential blood droplet. But what ended up happening, that blood droplet was not collected or tested, and actually when they brought Agent Coffee out, or Agent Honey, they didn't even have her blue star it either. So there is a spot on the floor of unknown origin, and nobody knows actually what it is. Moving further into the house, into the dining room, and you'll remember if I'm facing this photograph, the door to the stairs to go down to Gary's living quarters, it would be to the left. Agent Honey sprayed this entire area, if you'll remember from her testimony, in Blue Star. Nothing. Not a single drop of blood. Except for when you turn and on that same rug. That's the rug there, and that's up toward what would be the left-hand corner of the rug. There's a single drop of what she said is possible blood because it reacted to the Blue Star. Wasn't collected, wasn't tested. I asked her, I asked Shaw, I asked Stewart, can you take that, can you cut it out? Can you swab it? Yes. Yes. Have you ever done that before? Yes. Did they do it? No. They didn't do anything. They literally took a photograph of it and said, well, good enough. And you're going to hear a lot of that in this case. It all seems as a lot of good enough. And actually, they came in and they're sitting on the front there, which is perfect. Because a lot of them, if you heard us when we were questioning them, it's like, why didn't you do that? And what's the answer? I wasn't asked to. Well, when you're the government and you're investigating a murder, you should have some decency to actually take initiative in this case, especially if you're going to accuse a woman of murder. But they don't have any initiative. In fact, they had Kuykendall over there standing next to a tractor at 8 o'clock at night for no reason instead of actually investigating. They abandoned, and of course, Hayes ain't getting off the hook that easy, but that sheriff's office, they abandoned Hayes. They went out there and they investigated that crime scene, and they left, and then they just said, Hayes, you know what, you're the lead, it's on you. Figure it out. And just left it. That's why Pope had to go with him to Tennessee. He don't even work for the sheriff's office. He's an investigator with the fire department. And he goes all the way to Tennessee to interview Martha Jane, I believe, and also Rusty Barton, because he was left. But so there's no initiative. Agent Honey says When I asked her, did you collect it? No. Why? Nobody asked me to. No initiative. Here's the other blood spot, and this is two separate photographs. One on the left is essentially how the photograph is taken if you just took it while we're standing here today. The second one is you turn off the lights, and you remember with Shaw how you got to manipulate the lights, and then I did the whole thing about instead of taking a photograph and manipulating it, why don't we just set the stage in the house to actually be able to show the luminescence of the blue star actually on a photograph instead of manipulating the photograph to maybe see the blue star. So that one's been manipulated, but that's fine, because what did Hone say? It reacts like blood, but it could also be something else. Because remember, I went through with her different types of food that can react to blue star, different type of chemicals that can react to blue star, different type of minerals that can react to blue star. So she said, I don't know what it is. And also, did they sample or collect it? No. So essentially what we have here is a photograph of something that proves nothing. The stairs were the same way. I was going to go in, put in the blue star on the stairs, but, not just going to sit here and beat a dead horse. They didn't do anything with the stairs. They said, well, there looks like blood. Well, we're not going to collect it, and we're not going to test it. So, good enough. Now the downstairs, we actually get some investigation going here. You see from 1, 2, 3, and 4. You heard with the GBI that essentially we were calling 1 and 2. That's EM1 and EM2. And that's just EM was evidence marker, so 1 and 2. Now, those blood droplets are the DNA, blood DNA of Gary Farris. That is proven, that is a fact. 3 and 4 were not collected nor tested based on the testimony of Shaw and Thrasher, and Hayes as well. Side by side, up close comparison of EM1 and EM2. You can see the blood droplet of EM1 is a centimeter, a little bit smaller. EM2 is those tiny, substantially less, less in size than a centimeter, 3 little droplets. Now, the basement. We talked a lot about the basement. So I just put that in there from a backed away perspective of this. You can see there where the arrow is, that's about where EM1 was. It's essentially at the foot of that wooden spiral floor lamp. The projectile that was found in the basement is in between the cushion and the chair. And there's a close-up of the projectile. Now, here's what's interesting about the projectile. The projectile, they testified, did have DNA of Gary Farris on it. And I believe that they actually tested a piece of skin, is what the testimony of that was. But look at that bullet. It's in a very peculiar spot. According to all the witnesses that testified, there's no impact marks, there's no bullet holes, there's no nothing. There's no marks on the ground where this bullet landed or anything like that. And then when Hone got on the stand, because remember she blue starred the basement, and also with Kuykendall, since he's the one that found the bullet, no blood found around that bullet. The only blood is EM1, 2. That's the only blood in the basement. Around that bullet, there is no blood. So there's no blood found anywhere around the projectile. Now, Hone said she blue starred it, the whole basement. I'll show you another photograph here in a second. And also the GBI quantified that they examined the bullet and there were no textile fibers found on the bullet. And if you'll also recall with, I think her name was Bagwell with the GBI, talked to her about how a bullet can go through, especially with those types of bullets that you saw. And you'll have it back there. You'll see that the flanges that kind of go out, kind of got, almost looks like kind of teeth on them where the bullets opened up. And they talked about how that can go through and snag on clothing and things like that. And you could get fibers and other types of materials on the bullet, of which they found 0. Now, showing the basement out again, the little area, that's where Hone blue starred. And I asked her specifically, did you blue star on the couch and the chair and on? Her testimony was, and you'll remember this as well, was that she believed that she had blue starred the whole basement, but she would only take photographs if it showed the luminescent or presumptive blood. And she had no photographs of the couch. Nothing. Up here in any of the walls, and this applies upstairs too.
Somebody's phone's going off.
Nothing found on the back walls, nothing found on the ceiling, nothing.
Samantha, thank
you
so
The only thing
much.
found, 2 less than a centimeter drop of blood in the basement. Now this was admitted through Thrasher, I believe. Essentially, and this is a pivotal piece of evidence because when you're looking at the photograph, it's kind of hard to figure out, especially for you guys who hadn't been there and seen all this stuff, of actually trying to navigate that house. Very confusing, especially when you get in the basement. But you can see, and you'll have this back with you as well. This is the main floor layout, and you got the porch and all that. And I've taken this and I put the little dot. So that first dot closest to the bottom, that's where they said they thought was blood, but they didn't do anything with. Then you move around and you've got nothing until you get to that little drop at the top of the stairs that Honay talked about, as well as Thrasher, and then that other kind of swipe mark closer to the family room and the drops going downstairs. Now, what I thought was interesting in this, and the reason for it is, so you supposedly have, because you'll remember Mr. Focus asking, I think he asked Hayes, did you have evidence of a violent crime being committed in this house? And he said yes. Okay, so that's your evidence of a violent crime. 4 supposed drops of blood that was never collected, never tested in this entire Farris. Y'all saw the house. It's a pretty big house. But where else was nothing found? Or what else was found? So we got the living room, there's nothing. Kitchen, nothing. Breakfast area, nothing. Little hallway that leads to the bathroom and the mudroom, nothing. The hallway leading into the dining room, nothing. The dining room, there's just that one little drop that they didn't collect on the carpet. But other than that, nothing. Study, nothing. And most importantly, or second most importantly, that's the hallway that leads out to the garage. 0 found. Front porch, 0 found. Going downstairs, that's EM 1 through 4. You can see I've labeled it, the top 2 kind of bigger ones. It is hard to make a circle with a mouse attached to your keyboard where you just got to do it with your fingers. So pay no part of that. But also down here, so we got that, and we also got the projectile, right? So let's not forget that. But what else do we have? Well, we got nothing found in the media room or the workshop. We got nothing found in the bedroom. Nothing in the office, storage, utility. Nothing leading out of those sliding glass doors to the outside. And nothing leading out upstairs, going back again, don't do that, leading out the front door. This is pivotal. And also, you'll remember I asked, I think it was Shaw, and he hemmed and hawed around most of the stuff I asked him. But there's no damage to any of the doors, leading in or out of this house. So, any evidence of any dragging or any equipment being used or anything like that, and we'll get more into that later. But there's no damage to any of the door frames, the doors themselves, nothing. Now, this was, I think, aerial, one of them. And I put a little campfire, so that's my burn pile. All right, and that's a rough estimate of where it was. Y'all recall, y'all all walked down there. But what I wanted to show you is using this photograph is, so here, no blood is found. Here, no blood is found. Around the burn pile, no blood. No blood. No blood. No blood. Not a single solitary drop of blood from anybody. Melody, Gary, no one. And we'll go into the tractor because you're probably like, well, what about the RTV and the tractor? We'll get to that. That just shows all of those law enforcement. I could name, about who was there. Hayes was there, Shaw was there, Thrasher was there, Eckhart was there. I think Hands was there, Ballard was there. All of these people, all of these investigators, all of these law enforcement officers, EMS was there, fire was there. all of these people, and not a single solitary drop of blood is found on the outside where they claim that a violent murder happened. The outside of the house.
This might be compelling if we
This
didn't
came
have
up
the
because you
body.
heard, you probably didn't know what a preliminary hearing was. There's no point to learn it now, but you heard Melody, or you heard Amanda talking about it. I learned it at the preliminary hearing. And one of this photograph became a big deal actually in the preliminary hearing, because you notice you can see the crime scene tapes. So that is actually taken on or around July 5th. And I know the grass is extremely different now than when you all went out there. That is actual, real, regular old grass. Not a single tire track, drag mark, none on that well manicured grass, or the surrounding mulch, or anything else. In fact, well, there's the Kubota. We'll go on into that.
Here's the
So,
tractor.
we spent a whole day establishing tractors. So we got the tractor, and then we tested. Or actually, Tyke and Josh stood by with it for some reason. I think Stewart actually found the photograph on the left. That's the blood drop that was Gary's. That single, solitary, tiny little blood drop on the step. Because if you actually look at the tractor, there's no step on the, what would that be? If you're standing behind it on the right side, there's no step. So this is the left-hand side of the tractor, and that's all it is. Now the other photograph, that's the Blue Star photograph that Hayes and Shaw took when they actually took the tractor and the RTV over to the sheriff's office. And they said that this was, well, number one, it wasn't collected or tested, running theme we have here. But they said that was indicative of blood because it illuminated. But then, out of nowhere, I've been here for 4 weeks, and then we call the chief deputy. I didn't know it was the chief deputy. Thought he was still a captain. Found out he's the chief deputy now, so he got promoted. Found out, why did you call in the GBI? And I was going to ask him that anyway because he was the head of CID, so he had to be the one to approve it. And what did he say? But our Blue Star expired. So there's now evidence that the Blue Star that they used in this investigation was actually expired, and that they believed that it was necessary at that point that they needed to call in the GBI to do Blue Star testing because they didn't have any that wasn't expired. Nobody told you a single word about that, and all of the testimony about Blue Star by the sheriff's office until Pinion came and said, no, I called in the GBI because we didn't have any that was good. Not that it matters anyway, because yet again, not collected or tested. Now, the bucket. No blood, no DNA, zero evidence whatsoever. There is nothing that indicates that tractor was used to move Gary Farris's body at any point in time other than a tiny drop of blood on the stairs, and there's plenty of evidence that Gary used the tractor. In fact, it was his tractor. He can use it if he wanted to. And there's a tiny drop of blood on it. But where we're talking about a murder, we're talking about moving a 6'5", 300-pound man, we got to have a way to do it. Use the tractor. Nothing. Somebody that the state says was shot 2 or more times, and there's not a single drop, not blood, not skin, not sweat, not hair, nothing found in the bucket of the tractor. Also, the back. I was just thinking last night while I was putting this together that maybe they tied a rope around it, and we'll get into ropes and stuff later. But on the back of the tractor, no blood, actually no blood, suspected blood, or DNA, or any evidence whatsoever on the back of the tractor. So the front has nothing, the back has nothing. Now the RTV.
Welcome, Deb.
Kind of shifted, and then it seemed to me like in the middle of the trial almost, or not necessarily in the middle, but during the physical evidence part, that things kind of twisted. It was, we've got to abandon this tractor idea because that's not really working out. We're switching to the RTV. A little easier. So, of course, we got a Blue Star tested too. But there was Melody's blood was found in the GBI testified to this on the L2 shifter. There was no other blood or other DNA found on the RTV. Now, here's what's interesting though. L2 shifter, that's how it's labeled. You'll have a copy of the GBI report back there with you. That's what they call it. The problem is there's zero evidence or photographs of it, of the interior of the RTV, and nobody testified what the L2 shifter is or does. We have no idea. I don't know if that's what makes it go front and back. No clue. It's just called the L2 shifter. Now here's the blue star, yet again expired, on the RTV. So it is very hard to see, but so I put the circles around it. So that is on the, we'll go with the left side first. That's on the, looks like the driver's side of the Kubota. Those little drops. They said that was presumptive of blood. Then on the back, where that indention is on the left-hand side, there was a little blood there, or what they thought was blood. Now, and keeping the theme of this case rolling, not collected, not tested, not sent to the crime lab. Also, remember, because I asked who would that have been? That would have been Shaw. I asked Shaw specifically. Backtracker and that RTV, what'd y'all do with that, the Blue Star? And he was like, we hosed it down, the whole thing. Remember, we got a violent crime, a violent murder. The state's trying to say that this was potentially used to transport a 6'5", 300-pound man. Where there is absolutely no DNA based on the Blue Star, and actually their own physical examination of the RTV is actually in the bed of it. Nothing. And also the Blue Star was expired. Now, this just occurred to me just out of other reasons. I just want to go because people were just, you never know what a jury's going to think and what other people think. So you just try to cover all your bases. So thought about, maybe they used a winch to get Gary out of the house or something. But there's no evidence of a winch at the house. There's no evidence of a winch on the RTV. Four-wheelers, well, I ain't got four-wheelers. Got an RTV that's got no evidence on it. No evidence of any ropes, cables, straps, sheets, tarps, horses hauling, dollies hauling. That could either be, I call them hand trucks, or the thing, like four square with the four wheels kind of dolly thing. No evidence of that. No evidence of any device used to potentially move the body of Gary Farris. Zero. Not one. And you got all these photos, hundreds. I don't even know how much evidence we're actually up to in this case. Y'all can count it when you get back to the jury room if you want to. But there's probably 1,000 to 1,200 photographs alone. A lot of them are like this. That's why I put these three separate photographs together. It's like, look at all this stuff. But nothing is found. Now the house, I wanted to show you with that, because of that. So, we've got none of these things to move the body. And then yet again on the outside, no drag marks at all. All across that grass. Y'all saw the leaves, how the, underneath the tree canopy there, how it is. So you can see that if you were dragging a 300-pound man down that hill, it's fairly steep, that there would be some evidence. And there's not. There's zero. Now Melody's shirt, I just want to show you this. John Luke put this into evidence. And I'm just going to put gloves on to touch it because
I just noticed it's the
they
restaurant
just get a
shirt.
little nasty when they've been in an evidence bag for 6 years. So,
those are some small
and we didn't
gloves.
do it with the GBI who actually did the test of the blood. But when you look, because I asked Shaw photographs, y'all have those photographs back. When you look at this, you remember, there's the front of it. Shaw was saying there was blood down here or here. That's where he was saying there was blood. But where there was actual blood found, way up here. He didn't point that out. That's where the GBI actually took the cutting of the shirt and found blood. And whose blood was it? That was Melody's blood. Now, they called the other lady with the GBI who said that she tried to run what was called a true allele test. And all true allele is just a computer program that can potentially try to separate two different types of DNA, and he couldn't do it. It just said that there was Melody's DNA and there might be the DNA of somebody else of unknown origin and unknown type. So we just don't know what it is. So it didn't work. So you got Melody's blood on her own shirt, and you also, on a pair of shoes, that John was also put in, there was a single drop of blood on Melody's shoe. And yet again, this is Melody's own shoe. Now, why is that kind of important for anything? It goes to show the quality of the investigation. Because why take those things, send them off to be tested, if you're not going to do the basic thing? Hayes never asked, and we have no evidence of, did Melody wear